Liam Keenan is 8 years old today.
Rather a quiet entry then to the field for the visitors in the second round of the Regal Trophy. Bramley this afternoon. They come here after having taken Keighley earlier in the season to a very tight game, albeit finishing in the favour of Keighley at 18 points to 2. But nonetheless, they were the first team to succeed in shutting down the Keighley scoring machine. Well led, of course, by the veteran player and coach Ray Ashton at scrum half. He'll be orchestrating his troops this afternoon in the hope that he can restrict the Keighley scoring machine, in particular the centre Nick Pinkney, to a limited number of scores. As far as they're concerned, no scores. And as we await Keighley to come onto the field for this second round of the Regal Trophy, just to remind you, in the second round last season, of course, Keighley went across to Halifax. Not the best of days for Darren Appleby, who finished up with a broken ankle. Time to forget that, and time hopefully to remember for all at Keighley is this afternoon's match. Keighley take the field. And the team for this afternoon for Keighley: Andre Stoop returns at full-back after having had Achilles tendon trouble. And the three-quarters: Randy Ayres, Nick Pinkney, Simon Irvin, recovered from that mouth injury received last week against Chorley, and Johnny Walker on the wing. Martin Wood and Chris Robinson at half-back, with Ian Gately, Jason Ramshaw, Steve Hall, Darren Fleary, Grant Dory and Gareth Cochrane in the forwards. Keith Dixon and Brendan Hill at substitutes.
Welcome to the
there will be a moment's silence in the memory of Lord Derby, who died recently.
Of the late Earl of Derby. A minute silence, please, for show respects to the Earl of Derby who passed away. Thank you.
And the minute's silence there, taken to the full by referee Mr. Atkin from Hull, to the memory of the Earl of Derby, who died during the week. And just to go back now then to the teams for Bramley this afternoon: full-backs is John Perks, Wayne Freeman, Kevin Bell, Ronnie Sharp and Barry Greenwood as three-quarters. Ken Kerr, the Australian, at stand-off, with Ray Ashton, player-coach, at scrum half. Andy Marson, Glenn Freeman, Brian Quinlan, Dean Hall, Roy Jewett and Gordon Long in the forwards. The subs for Bramley: Andy Agar and Mark Laws. So going back to the statistics just a little bit, if you remember, Keighley went out, as I said earlier, in the second round last season. Bramley, of course, went one stage further, only to fall at the third hurdle to Carlisle with a 34 points to 4 deficit at Carlisle. This afternoon, Bramley come, according to the Pulse people, with a 24-point start. The difference that the Pulse people think that there will be between the two sides, we don't bother about that. The scoreline starts at 0-0. Even if there's 1 point in the difference at the end, that's it. And in fact, we've already seen what looks to be like an injury over the far side to Ronnie Sharp, the number 4 from Bramley, is having, it would appear, to take his place on the bench. So then Keighley get underway. They lost the toss, they're having to play up the hill. Just keep an eye on that far touchline side, because Ronnie Sharp has not taken the field. In fact, he's already substituting now. Whether that's going to count as a substitute, I don't know, but Mark Laws is a man coming on. Ronnie Sharp never actually started the game. Looked as though he went over an ankle.
Substitute for Bramley is Mark Laws on for Ronnie Sharp. Substitute for Bramley.
So we wait to see, in fact, whether that substitute counts, because he was not on the field when the game actually got underway. That one not a bad shot for us, but misters, as Keighley penalised in the opening exchanges for holding down in the tackle. Loose forward Gordon Long then gets play underway. It's Andy Marson taking the first drive just into the Keighley half of the field as Long, acting half-back, gets the ball onto Jewett, the number 12 for Bramley. Dragged towards the 10 metres inside the Keighley half. And hook of Glenn Freeman. Ball out the far side there to stand off Ken Kerr, the Australian. He had a spell over here at Keighley early doors last season, moved away to Huddersfield, and certainly has been a journeyman last season. Finishing up at Bramley and continuing to do a fair bit of good work for them so far this season. But this is Brian Quinlan driving in. Bramley having really lost possession early in that tackle count, but Mr. Atkins said it went backwards, but this is the last tackle as Long chips the ball through. Robinson took the ball very calmly. He had Andre Stoop coming with him, but decided that the speed that Andre was coming at, the chances of offloading may well have caused a spill, and he decided on security as Nick Pinkney takes the play clear of his own 20-metre line. Ramshaw going on his own. A good 10 metres gain there by Ramshaw with no support out to his right, and this time it's Bramley adjudged to, in fact, holding down. I thought for a moment he's actually going to penalise Gordon Long, the loose forward, for actually being inside the 10. Simon Irvine then puts that ball deep into touch into the Bramley half of the field. 30 metres out, Ayres taps the ball, a long one in field to Wood, misses out Hall, but Robinson not able to take it, but the ball goes back. Simon Irvine picks up the pieces, onto Pinkney, Pinkney through the hole, chips forward. Well, he was always going to be tackled there, was Nick Pinkney, as Gordon Long gets the ball out there to substitute Laws on the far side, and Laws gets back to the halfway line before being brought to ground. Roy Jewett then just inside the Cougars half of the field. Crowd quite quiet when Bramley are in possession. Not too many people bothered to make the trip across from Bramley to here, I would suspect. A nice ball out there to Dean Hall on this side. Tackle. And Barry Greenwood now going inside, but Andy Ayres does the chasing, does the tackling, and brings Greenwood down. Still on that 30-metre line. Ashton operates the run round with Kerr. But it's Jewett in the centre of the field brought to ground, and in fact it was the last tackle. It's the handover. And the wingman on the far side, well, he was almost in the Keighley ranks there, was winger Wayne Freeman. As Ramshaw gets the ball inside to Robinson. Robinson switches back inside to Wood. Wood tries to get through. But, Andre Stoop wrapped up there as he received the pass from Martin Wood. And it's Robinson. Releases Keighley. Keighley charging in there, but Andy Marson tackling round the ankles, and you can't go without the legs no matter how strong or hard you are. Steve Hall, 10 metres inside the Bramley half of the field. Grant Dorey offers the ball but takes it in himself. Ramshaw though tackled by Ashton. Robinson having to do the sweeping up, and Hall now inside to Martin Wood. It's Ian Keighley taken round the top. The referee said it was a chest and it rode upwards. Ramshaw now from the play of the ball. A long ball out there to Cochrane, but there's two Bramley players there who wrap him up, and the ball's lost in the tackle, so we'll have a scrum down on that 10. In fact, a handover, it was the last one. And Keighley doing the tackling there on on Brian Quinlan, just inside the Bramley 20. Bramley, a long ball out this side, hoping to outstrip the Keighley defence. Nick Pinkney does the tackling there on Dean Hall. Gets up, plays the ball. Kerr onto Long, but it's Glenn Freeman there, wrapped up as he got that pass by Steve Hall and Jason Ramshaw. And Long gets the ball out this time to Marson. Marson tackled 10 metres from the halfway lines, just inside his own half as the last tackle comes up. Ashton going up for the kick to be followed, and it's certainly a good chase by Bramley, but how many yards offside were they, I wonder, when it was a very, very short 10 metres was that was allowed, as Simon Irvine takes that ball behind his shoulder, but secures it nonetheless, gets up, plays it, Ramshaw to Robinson, switches back inside to Hall, the big fella comes inside, drives into the Bramley half of the field, plays the ball, Ashton well offside there, as Cochrane offered the ball out to Walker, took it back into himself though, 10 metres inside the Bramley half. Robinson outside to Dory stepping back inside, off goes to Ramshaw, he's got support there, Robinson gets his first try for the club. Chris Robinson's first try for the Cougars. The provider becomes the scorer. How many tries has he provided for colleagues of his whilst he's been here at Keighley this season? That's the first one he's scored for the club. Certainly well deserved. Seven minutes into the first half. Simon Irvine then with the conversion attempt, 15 metres in from the far touchline side. Two points extra to the Robinson try.
First try for Chris Robinson.
Gordon Long then restarts for Bramley. Robinson slides on the turf as he gives the ball there to Darren Fleary. Fleary out to that 20-metre line. And Ramshaw onto Cochrane for the second drive. Ramshaw points to his left, but switches to his left as Martin Wood gets Pinkney on. Irvine's on the line there, and so Stoop in the line. Good handling there by Keighley. And Martin Wood onto Robinson. Robinson offers it to Keighley, but takes it himself. Ashton does the tackling. Tied up there with Marson in the centre of the field. And it's Keighley now driving in. Keighley charges in at the Bramley defence as the last tackle called by Mr. Atkin. And Robinson now puts the kick over the top for the chase, but the chase is poor by Keighley. In fact, the nearest Keighley chaser there on that far side of the field must have been at least 20 metres away, but good follow-up by the forwards, keeping Bramley pegged inside that 10-metre line. Long plays the ball as Substitute Mark Laws gets up, plays the balls, it comes out this side now. Fleury half tackles loose forward Long, and Long going up the centre of the park now, but prevented any further progress by Ramshaw as the last tackle comes up, and it's back to John Perks, the full-back, previously played in the stand-off position. Kick up field there as Andre Stoop jinks his way through, almost away from the tacklers, but in fact Kevin Bell doing the tackling on him as Robinson switches it out to Hall. Hall drives through, runs for the gap at the side of the referee to great effect there as he's brought down just before the halfway line. Ramshaw onto Martin Wood. Wood though wrapped up just short of the halfway line this side of the field this time as Ramshaw goes on to Ayres. Ayres runs across the face, he's got the supporter Fleury who gets the ball, but Fleury trying to straighten up in the heavy ground at the far side, not able to do so terribly effectively as Dory now goes in 20 metres from the Bramley line, calling for the ball to come to the light to this right hand side. Robinson goes for the kick, it's high, it's hanging, it's good, it's missed by the full-back, but fortunately, well in fact, having penalised Keighley for being offside, and no, he didn't penalise him for being offside. He penalised Keighley there for tackling the man before he actually got the ball. Well, certainly Mr. Atkin was on station to see that. He was there with the play, he was there watching everything, and certainly from our angle here, it must have been a very, very fine line decision.
The score at Whitehaven is Whitehaven 18, Featherstone 6.
Gordon Long driving in. Well, Gordon Long playing the ball, I should say. That's Dean Hall who did the driving in. This is wingman Barry Greenwood looking for a way through the centre of that Keighley defence, but there's no way through Jason Ramshaw and Ian Gately for him on that occasion. Ashton gets Kerr out on the far side, but the ball spilled. Man coming from an offside position, did he? Our referee in fact calling the knock on. Gives Keighley an opportunity to launch an attack from that Bramley 30-metre line, and of course Bramley without one centre. Ronnie Sharp never actually took the field, limped off before the game started. And referee Atkin there spotting that Bramley had only got 5 players packing down. Walker then onto Cochrane, onto Martin Wood, finds Simon Irvine. Irvine kicks the hole out there for Andre Stoop. Andre Stoop surely should have given that ball to Nick Pinkney. He had a 2-to-1 overlap outside him. Surely the ball should have gone to Pinkney. And Ian Gately now. Gately throws the ball anywhere really, and it's forward pass as the referee. Perhaps Ian may have done better taking the tackle, but it certainly looked as though he was going to go through and score on his own there. But really, Andre Stoop should have parted with that ball, no question about it. The heavy ground's not going to make easy stepping inside as he was trying to do. But with Nick Pinkney and Andy Ayres outside him, that was a try-scoring opportunity wasted by Keighley.
Plumbers and Ingro car sales.
The referee wanting somebody to come and attend to a Bramley player. Brian Quinlan, the man wanting attention. In fact, the Bramley physio at the back of the Bramley post there now had their attention drawn to him.
Another announcement, don't forget, for the Supporters Club, they're having their Christmas draw night on the 15th of December at the Sponsors Bar with karaoke and a disco plus light refreshments. Admission is free and you might even win a prize. That's everybody's welcome to that.
Quinlan just having a quick word with the referee.
15th of December.
Now satisfied that everything's okay, restarts the clock. The ball fed by Ashton and comes up the short side, but Keighley's certainly aware of the possibility of the short side ball there. Had almost, in fact, there'd more players on the short side than Bramley had. Covered it extremely well, that possibility of the short side breakaway. Bramley just getting themselves in a bit of a knot there. The pressure from the Keighley defenders, and again the same move coming as the substitute Mark Laws came on the dummy run, hoping to deceive the Keighley defenders. Good break up there by the previously injured Brian Quinlan, taking Bramley up to the halfway line as he goes as Ashton now goes for the kick and for the chase. Everybody on side. Andre Stoop takes the ball. Ken Kerr at the leading of the chase there, but Wayne Freeman does the tackling. A suspicion, half suspicion, could have been a knee or a boot by Ashton there, just held back at the very, very last minute by him. And Ramshaw onto Cochrane. Cochrane steps to his right hand side. Tackle though as Ramshaw gets the ball away onto Robinson. Keighley driving and clearing the 20-metre line as he goes. And it's Ramshaw again on this side of the field. Kick going through for the chase there by Keighley. It's the full-back John Perks who takes the ball. Good chase by Andy Ayres. And again trying to come up this short side as Nick Pinkney shoulder charges that player towards the touchline side. Long gets the ball through but skips away and eventually finishes up in the arms of Glenn Freeman.
I'd remind you, there's no smoking in the stand, please. No smoking in the stand.
Gordon Long then at acting half onto Ashton. Big hit there by Grant Dorey on Andy Marson as Ashton switches play to this side of the field, but the tenacity of the Keighley tackling certainly being felt by these Bramley players. Roy Jewett certainly knew about that one and still feeling it as the ball goes for the kick through on the last tackle, but Robinson looking for the support of Stoop, but Stoop obviously well back for the deeper kick which didn't get there. Robinson has to take it in himself, tackle just inside the Bramley half. Steve Hall straight it through, or almost straight through Glenn Freeman. The ball, well, the touch judge at this side indicates to the referee that it was spilled. Steve Hall shakes his head and Ray Ashton says thank you very much to the touch judge. And I think even half acknowledging that it may well have been scooped out with the latter signal to give. As Greenwood now takes the ball from the base of the scrum towards the centre of the field, 5 metres inside his own half of the field. Bell gets Marson into it, offloads in the tackle as Marson, but Kevin Bell following up in support, takes play to the Keighley 30-metre line as Ashton points to his right. Quinlan taking the ball in, spinning as he goes to the 20-metre line before being brought to the ground. And this is Marson taking it in. Certainly plenty of yardage for Bramley on this set of 6 as Ashton gets it through the hands of Long, back to Ashton himself. And Roy Jewett towards the inside the Keighley 20. And inside Ashton goes in for the reverse kick. Andy Ayres decides that he'll leave it alone. So the restart on the 20-metre line as Simon Irving gets the ball out to John Walker. Possibly the first time John Walker's touched the ball, I'm not sure. Maybe only the second anyway. Not had too much running chances, hasn't Walker, this afternoon so far. As Keighley gets 5 metres from the halfway line. And Fleary driving in, but tackled as he gets to the halfway line. Gets up, plays it quickly. Ramshaw onto Robinson. Robinson misses out Wood, but he finds Stoop in support. Stoop sets back inside, back to Robinson again. He's got Ayres outside him, switches back inside to Ayres. Ayres skips and dances, eventually gets it away to Cochrane. Cochrane's got the pack of the Cougars outside him. Long ball out, well, a scoop ball round the back by Martin Wood. Certainly, if Andre Stoop had been able to take that ball, and how on earth Andre Stoop got back that so far across, I don't know, as quickly as he did. But he did, he was there in support. If he could have got that ball, it would have been wide open, but perhaps just needs a little bit of calming. certainly quickly moving the ball across the field and switching it back even quicker will create the gaps in this Bramley defence as the others become forced or unforced. And well, I don't really know what the Bramley player's doing at Jason Ramshaw there, but he's certainly having a go, that's for sure. Ramshaw trying to get away and still trying to get away from those Bramley players. The referee just going to pull Jason Ramshaw to have a word first. One hopes, of course, he will be speaking to the Bramley player. I think the message from Mr. Atkin will be, let me do the referee and you just do the playing. Now pulling out number 3, Kevin Bell. Just a little bit more severe discussion with Mr. Bell from Mr. Atkin, and indicating to him where the bench or the changing rooms are if he doesn't give up. And referee also telling Mr. Atkin that he will do, the referee Mr. Atkin telling Ray Ashton that he too will do the refereeing.
Final score at Whitehaven is Whitehaven 18, Featherstone Rovers 12.
So then the end result of all that was a penalty to Keighley. Simon Irvine will be looking to put this one into touch on this side of the field. Safely in, some 25 metres away from the Bramley line with 22 minutes of the first half gone. Keighley leading 6 points to 0 as Gately drives in, hits the 20. Ramshaw onto Hall. Hall drives again towards those Bramley posts, sets the things in motion for Keighley. Well, now surely the referee made a mistake there. Steve Hall was well marked. Well marked there was Steve Hall. I think, in all honesty, if that one had gone against Keighley, we would have been screaming blue murder up here. And the word comes from Ray Ashton to the referee as well that looked to me as though Steve was marked. Be interesting to see the replay.
Such a lovely sight to see, but their tries fought with each other, so their love could never be. Drawing there from the white dove, Stevie Hall.
So just as we were thinking that Keighley did need another score, there it was. Simon Irvine to hopefully have the extras to take Keighley to the round dozen, which he does quite comfortably.
Shake them all about. Do it when Simon says, and you will never be out.
Gordon Long then restarts for Bramley, 12-0 the scoreline against them. As Darren Fleary takes it back. Ramshaw into Robinson. Robinson finds Ayres in support in the centre of the field, but Ayres has to be satisfied with taking that tackle 15 metres out from his own line as Steve Hall now takes on the opposition. Ball spun out wide for Gately, finds Pinkney. Pinkney strides round the outside. Nick Pinkney on his way to another Cougar try. Yo, that's class. Absolute class. Well, if you go on League and Cup, that's Nick Pinkney's 23rd try of the season. And what a turn of pace as he totally outstripped fullback John Perks on the outside. But as soon as he got the ball, as soon as it's put into his hands, the hole had been created. There was no way that he was not going to score. Tremendous score there by Nick Pinkney. Two tries in 3 minutes then for Keighley. Could possibly just be what seems to be termed in the newspapers as a game breaker.
Nick Pinkney.
Simon Irvine, oh, just drifting wide to the left-hand side of the uprights there. Nonetheless, 16 points to nil, keeper lead.
Nick Pinkney's 7th consecutive match that he scored in, I've just been informed. Very good. And that equals a record that stood since 1907. Bundle of information up here.
Darren Fleary then driving the ball back out in the customary fashion from the restart. Certainly think Darren could get, and Chris Robinson particularly with the catching from the restarts, could get a job on the boundary edge in the cricket club next door or in the cricket team next door. Very rarely puts them down. As Ramshaw onto Robinson. Robinson out then to Martin Wood. Martin Wood creates the hole again. Cochrane's here. Is Martin Wood out there? Sorry, he had Nick Pinkney outside him as Nick Pinkney's now taken out. The referee's not seen it, the touch judge has, and it's still going on there. Oh, and the head flew in there. I hope we've got that on. The try's been scored. I wasn't watching that. I was watching the animal of the Bramley defender there, and that's all it was, putting the head in on Nick Pinkney.
Running there, a big player.
Steve Hall scoring his second try, but the touch judge is going to report this. He is doing, in fact, at the moment to referee Atkin. I feel sure he'll let the try score, but he's going to have to speak to somebody about that. Goodness me. In fact, I think he's just indicating to Simon Irvine that that's exactly what he's going to do after the conversion attempt. But a blatant butt to the head there after Pinkney had been taken out following the Cochrane break. Still trying to get away from the Bramley player was Nick Pinkney, and he wouldn't let him go. Stood up and in flew the head.
Number 2 for the big boy.
Simon Irvine then with the conversion attempt from the touchline side. No, it's going, but in fact Mr. Atkin I don't think is going to have a word, is he? Yes, he is. It's now stopping the clock. Stopping the clock now is the referee. Wait and see if he gets the right man.
A few days ago, and that's from his mum and dad. And everybody here.
Number 11, Dean Hall, is having words with. Well, that's the second Bramley player he's told where the dressing room is, and all Dean Hall does is come away and laugh. And pulling Nick Pinkney out as well. Again, the referee telling him that he'll do the refereeing and he'll do the dispatching if necessary. Well, it's obvious that Bramley are having a go at Nick Pinkney. They've had the go at Nick Pinkney. They're trying to intimidate Keighley. Let's just hope that Keighley stick to the task, and which I'm sure they're well capable of doing. Kerr hanging onto the ball there, or the leg, as Fleary comes in. I'm sure Keighley are capable of sticking to the task and not getting drawn into the intimidation that Bramley are obviously now trying to pull into the game. They've gone 20 points to nil in arrears. As Ashton, whoa, standing well offside there. Let's hope that the controller of referees, who is sending a message out to all coaches about the play of the ball, picks up on that particular point, because way offside there was Ashton, interfering all the time. As the last tackle, as Robinson puts the kick in for the chase on the far side. The Keighley chase is excellent as Andre Stoop leads it, does the tackling, Simon Irving follows up, and Bramley penned in their own 10-metre area. Just once again, 30 minutes of this first half gone. Bramley now trying to break away from that positively dangerous area of theirs inside the 20 as referee Atkin brings them all back, Keighley all back, that is, to the 10-metre line away from the players. The last tackle call this time. Long with the kick, deep upfield, Stoop underneath it, just has a quick look where everybody is. Tries to step outside Kerr, but again, a certain amount of holding down there in the tackle. And a distinctive flop as well. Cochrane driving in, Walker in support on the outside, but quite a posse of Bramley defenders on the outside there as Robinson gets the ball into Dory. Dory tries to get out, and again an unnecessary flop. Perhaps Mr. Atkin just taking account of the conditions, that the man had already committed himself to that. Martin Wood gets up, being held back by the shirt there as Robinson now from Ramshaw. Robinson kicks through to the fullback, and fullback Perks being forced onto the flanks by the line of Keighley chasers. And Greenwood into the centre of the field, tackle though just outside his own 20-metre line. Long gets the ball away there to number 12 Roy Jewett, and Jewett driven back by Ramshaw and Dory, and Long gets the ball out once more. This time it looks as though it's Andy Marson, and the ball inside almost anywhere. Ken Curl left to do the sweeping up.
If you see Norma, please, John Whittaker. Norma's got your tickets. Thank you.
And once more the last tackle call by the referee as Ashton comes on the short side, feeds it out to number 11 Dean Hall, but Dean Hall tackled 10 metres inside the Keighley half as the last one's called, throws the ball away. And Hall, Robinson, tackle as he tried to come on the short side, but eventually manages to get up, plays the ball to Ramshaw, inside then to Ayers. Ayers, half a chance there, he's got Stoop with him, but the pass was forward, definitely forward, the line in front of us, the ball crossing that line as it went forward, and Ray Ashton just having a few words with Chris Robinson, and Robinson just standing his ground and ignoring Ashton, which is the best way to do, but now he's having a go. Well, certainly something's incited Chris Robinson into something there with what Ray Ashton has done or said to him. As Bramley now get the ball across, Robinson just staying his ground at this side of the field, now taking up his defensive position as Bramley tackled. Long gets rid of the ball there to Jewett, but Jewett in fact tackled almost 10 metres inside the Keighley half as we get to within almost just over 5 minutes of the half-time break. The ball lost in the tackle there, referee says it went backwards. Looked to me as though it was thrown down to the ground by the Bramley player, but obviously Mr. Atkins shielded by the Keighley players on that occasion. Oh, it's a good chase. Here's a try here for Bramley. Slack play on the far side there. Certainly slack play on the far side there by Keighley. The Bramley player, the Bramley player being allowed the flexibility of being kicking through, and the chase was terrible by Keighley, or the defensive chase. The second kick stopping in the in-goal area and gave Gordon Long the chance of the score, which he gratefully accepted. So, I suppose that if you're looking for excuses, John Walker has been starved of possession over the far side. He's been out of the game for very much of this half, and when the question is asked of him, he's found to be wanting. So then John Perks misses the conversion, but Bramley on the scoreboard. 20 points to 4, Keighley lead, and we've got 3 minutes of running time left in this first half. So then Robinson with the unusual task of having to restart. Nonetheless measures that ball absolutely perfectly into no man's land, making Bramley having to come and work for it. The fullback John Perks taps it with his foot, regains possession as Bramley now break out of the 20. Just. The substitute there is Alan Agar on the field. And that Bramley player there hitting an absolute massive wall there of Fleary and Gately, as Fleary does the tackling again, this time on Andy Marson. Freeman going on his own, takes play inside the Keighley half. Referee calls the Keighley defence back to that 10 line that he wants them to be on. As a kick comes through, all onside comes the call. Andy Ayres with the ball, Ken Kerr chasing him as Stoop now gets the ball. Ashton doing the tackling. And Stoop onto Ramshaw, he finds Hall. Hall tackled 10 metres from the halfway line and dragged forward again, and goes and plays the ball to himself again. The marker this time at his side. Quite legitimate play to himself there by Steve Hall, aware of the situation. As Ramshaw on to Robinson. Keighley have got the numbers on this side. Simon Irvine tries to step through but can't get. Ian Hall tackling at the top of Simon Irvine, but quite legitimately, says the touch judge on this side, as Grant Dory now spins out of that tackle. Last one comes up on the Bramley 20th. Ramshaw gets it out to Robinson. Robinson puts the kick over for the chase. It's hanging in the air, but it's taken by Bell. The Keighley chasers were there. But, Kevin Bell certainly took that ball quite well under a fair amount of pressure. Wayne Freeman managing to escape all those attempted tackles by those Keighley forwards, managing to get considerably away from his own line and lifting the pressure off Bramley. But again, a big hit there as the thud reached us up here in the gantry. Just inside. Now what on earth Andy Marson's got to fall on top of that lot for, I don't know. But he gets the ball away from acting half onto Ashton. Ashton into the centre of the field to Long, misses out Kerr, over to Bell on the far side as the fullback John Perks joins in the line, but tackled just inside the Keighley half of the field. Ashton framed as though to kick, did do. John Walker takes the ball, but inside the 10. says the referee. Ashton claims that he kicked the ball, but he may well have done, but he wasn't the first there, that's for sure. In fact, it wasn't Ashton, I beg your pardon, who made the claim. Ken Kerr, the man making the claim, and of course he was nowhere near kicking the ball. As Steve Hall tries to escape those tacklers just inside his own half of the field. 20 points to 4, Keighley lead at the moment. Martin Wood onto Gately. Gately hit by a 3-man tackle there as he entered the Bramley half of the field. Trying to get off, but suspect perhaps that his opposite number 8 was holding him down as Robinson gets Fleury. Fleury stepping back inside into the Bramley half of the field for the umpteenth time. And I think Andre Stoop probably interfering with Ramshaw slightly there as Stoop now takes the ball through. 30 metres out. Well over a minute of stoppage time run now as Ayres takes the ball. And taken out there was Ayres, that's for sure. But Keighley chasing this ball forward. Who's going to drop on it? Nobody. And the referee says call, played on. I thought he was definitely stopping play there for sure. He stood with Andy Ayres. He stayed where he was. Oh, and that's Bell again. Dean Hall again. He's been spoken to. He's completely put the lights out of the Keighley player on this side. Martin Wood, I think. Well, he's been involved before. He was involved with Nick Pinkney. The referee spoke to him then. He told him where the changing rooms were if there were anything else. And my words, he's done it again. And in between that time, he's also, I've seen him put in 2 or 3 rather topside and somewhat late tackles. But Martin Wood's not moved at all. Referee Atkin just having a look to see whether he's feigning that injury. Well, Mr. Atkin, it's make your mind up time here, I think. He's got a card in his hand anyway, and it's the red one. And it has to be, it's deserved. Congratulations to the referee, he's certainly taken the right action there. A deliberate and willful foul on Martin Wood. He'd already had a go at Nick Pinkney in the half, and that does Bramley's cause no good whatsoever. But certainly Mr. Atkin to be applauded for that decision. He'd already warned him, he'd already told him where the dressing rooms were if he did anything else. And the action he's taken was absolutely positive. Well, receiving the bird from the crowd as he goes to the changing rooms. As Ramshaw now gets the ball, drives in towards those posts. Had a tremendous first half as Ian Gately rather. Tremendous first half, Ian Gately, but there goes the hooter. That's the half time. We've had tries in the first half, 4 tries for Keighley, 2 for Steve Hall, 1 for Nick Pinkney. The first try in the Keighley colours for Chris Robinson, and the first try of the afternoon. A couple of Simon Irving's goals giving the Keighley 20 points, and the Bramley try coming from Gordon Long about on the 30-minute mark. Half-time score then, Keighley Cougars 20, Bramley 4.
So if you ever want a tape, ring Dougie up on a Saturday night, and he does a tremendous...
There we go then for the second half. Keighley leading 20 points to 4 in this second round Regal Trophy tie here at Cougar Park. Bramley of course reduced to 12 men without Dean Hall for the second half. Already without Ronnie Sharp, who never really made the game to start with. So restricted to 1 fit substitute I should say. Plus any that obviously the replacements on the field. As Andy Ayres then out towards that 30-metre line. Penalising for laying on. Gordon Long adjudged to be the guilty party. But, we did actually see Mr. Atkin do this at the beginning of the first half with both sides, a penalty both ways early on for laying on, and then tended to relax the the application of the law thereafter as Martin Wood now onto Robinson. He finds Ramshaw. Dory in the gap. Ramshaw out then to Darren Flair and Nick Pinkney off the field. Keith Dixon on. Receiving suspicion, a bit of concussion, I suspect, from the elbow that he received early on in the game from Hall. As Dixon now gets the ball away to Robinson rather. Robinson steps inside, offloads to Hall. Hall manages to get the ball away. Stoop, well, intercepting that ball and just having to redirect his geography as he goes up the wing. Gets the ball out there to Ayres. Ayres steps inside, but referee Atkin, banging line again, says the ball was forward. It was absolutely in A1 position there, was Mr. Atkin. But, Andre Stoop, just when he received that ball, clawed out of there, had to decide just whereabouts on the field he was. Just get the compass out and see which way was north and set off. As Bramley now then try to work themselves away from the defensive position into one of attack. Ashton switching play to this side of the field, but Keighley numbers matching those of Bramley. Quinlan tackled just short of the 30-metre line, from his own line, that is, as Ashton now puts the kick over the top for the chase. The referee calls play on. It hangs in the mud there as Robinson contemplated the long pass out to Stoop, but decided that he'll be better employed by taking the tackle. And Ayres now looking for the drier spots on the field as he gets towards the halfway line before being tackled. And Ramshaw keeping the play, coming the same way, but Fleary losing the ball, not able to turn around and regather. Bramley take up the options as Kevin Bell, though, thought about giving the ball out to the wing Freeman, but decided to take it back inside, only to be tackled by Fleary. And Agar 10 metres inside the Keighley half of the field. Freeman gets the ball onto Marson, but Marson again tackled as Bramley playing one-up rugby at the moment. Long this time, this is looking a bit better for Bramley, but it's out to the last man on the far side as he comes back inside, looks for support, but tackled there by Keith Dixon as the move went backwards. Still the signal not come. I must admit, lost count myself, or not kept count in this sequence. This is the last one comes up. And Ashton thought about kicking, he's going to lose that one now, but still manages to offload, and here comes the kick. Good, high and deep, and taken on the full inside the try line areas. The ball comes quickly back to the 20, and Dory tackle as he gets to that 30-metre line. Ramshaw out to Hall. Hall steps inside, takes on the defence, falls at the halfway line as Ramshaw looks for the supporting Keighley. He goes up the stand side. Interference there, and Ashton offside. Certainly interference at the play of the ball before Ashton even became involved, but certainly standing in an offside position there was Bramley player coach Ray Ashton. And in fact, referee Atkin just telling Ashton to keep calm. In fact, I beg your pardon, it's not, it's Ken Kerr again. Well, the referee was telling to keep calm. Keighley. 10 metres, a dozen metres from the Bramley line as Ramshaw switches to Robinson. He finds Stoop in support, the fullback driving in at Ashton, being tackled towards the touchline side, manages to stay in field. And Ayres at acting half-back onto Robinson, out then to Dixon, Dixon to Martin Wood. Martin Wood just hesitates slightly, gets stitched up though in the centre. Tried to commit the Bramley defence into an error there as Steve Hall now drives to the line, searching for his hat-trick, but brought down a couple of metres short. Ramshaw diving through on his own. Was he turned over? Well, I'm not really sure what happened there. He obviously must have lost the ball over the line, which brought that decision. Thought he managed to get it down, or at least might have been turned over. Had he been turned over, of course, it would have been a scrum with head and feet to Keighley inside that set of 6. Ashton out the far side to Kerr. Kerr just tries to step on the gas as Dixon tackles Ashton as he parted with the ball. But Bramley back on the halfway line, trying to take the action to Keighley, into the Keighley half of the field. Kerr offers the offload but loses it. Knock on though by Steve Hall. Now, was there 2 knock-ons? I don't think there was. Nope. Then Ashton gets the ball from that scrum. Gordon Long tackle just inside his own half of the field as Bramley attempt to launch an attack down this short side. Dory doing the tackling on Andy Marson, and it's Freeman at acting halfback. Gets the ball out to Gordon Long. Long looking for a way through, but straight back to where he started from. Tackled though 5 or 6 metres inside the Keighley half. Wayne Freeman there, tackled, brother of course of the hooker. And that's the hooker there getting the ball away as Ashton runs around with Quinlan, gets the ball out the far side to full-back Perks, but Bramley's forward momentum completely restricted to a metre either side of the halfway line. As the ball is high, it's spinning. Robinson takes it with a lot of attention there from Ken Kerr, obviously coming from an onside position, otherwise he would have been penalised. Steve Hall tackled. And Keighley through the first, through the second, but falls to the third, but good yardage there by Keighley in position that Keighley were finding themselves almost in no-go. And Robinson into the heavy stuff as Martin Wood delays the pass to Fleary, but Fleary brought to ground 5 metres inside the Bramley half. Robinson on to Dory this time, delayed pass there to Cochrane, creates the opening, but Cochrane tackled 10 metres from the Bramley line as in fact the last one's called. Robinson now, we're going to see the kick. No, it's a long ball out to Ramshaw. Ramshaw looking for the support, out to Walker. Walker chips through this time. And the fullback so well protected by the 2 Bramley defenders that Walker just couldn't get anywhere near him at all. So Bramley live to see another day as Freeman comes away, hits the 20-metre line before being tackled. Out there on the far side, ominous looking clouds overhead coming down the valley from Skipton. Could signify a downpour, let's hope not before the end of the game. As the last tackle called yet again, and Bramley still 30 metres from their own try line. Kerr puts in an awful kick there, but under a lot of pressure. Fleary doing well there, skidding towards the touchline side, manages to stay in touch though, in field I should say, as Ayres now steps back inside, and play attracted towards that heavy area all the time as Bramley attempt of course to push them round into that area. Robinson having to go back inside, the other people in front of him there as he attempted to offload, but now finds Martin Wood. There's Darren Fleary in the hole, tackles some 20 metres from that Bramley line as Fleary gets up, plays the ball. Steve Hall, Martin Wood, Robinson out to Ramshaw, handball on there to Stoop, but Stoop not able to gather it, and the knock-on called. Certainly a bit of enterprise shown there by Keighley as the ball was moved across quickly. And the resulting scrum, of course, for the knock-on by Andre Stoop, with the advantage of head and feed to Bramley. Ashton gets the ball in. The crowd behind don't like it, but that's the way of things in scrums these days. Bramley working the way down, but a big tackle there by Darren Flaherty, but nonetheless still managing to offload as Kevin Bell gets tackled just under, or just about 10 metres from the halfway line. Long, well, the ball going almost anywhere there as Ken Kerr having to almost perform a miracle to get that ball, keep that ball in play as he scooped it out towards the wingman. Kerr at acting halfback. Quinlan tackled 10 metres from the halfway line. Bramley being kept camped in their own half of the field in spite of all the possession they've had in the last few moments. Last tackle comes up. This is the best chance they've got of getting into the Keighley half with the kick. And that ball going straight through the arms of Ray Ashton. Ashton taking his eyes off it. And the run being allowed to go there as the chase goes in. Andy Ayres is there to take it. A lot of pressure applied to him by Bramley. Ayres escaping the tackle. Dummies to the player on his right, on his left rather, as Marson penalised for laying on. And I think perhaps Mr. Atkin perhaps a little bit generous there, because I feel sure he could have also penalised Marson for being the second man in the tackle and dropping with the elbow as he went. But laying on is the decision. Simon Irvine with the resulting penalty kick towards us over this side. Ramshaw to Walker now. Walker taking play back in field. Ramshaw onto Gately. Gately taking the play. Looked to be a slide there by number 12, who come the crowd as Roy Jewett's legs flew across. Robinson onto Flaherty. Nice bit of handling there by Keighley, but Flaherty puts the ball down. Ball spinning out there. And out the back of the Bramley pack once more. Martin Wood doing the tackling. Bramley player tries to get up and get away from it, but Wood hung on tightly. As play a couple of metres inside the Keighley half, Marson gets up, plays the ball on then to Jewett. Jewett though taking the ball straight in for Bramley, and it's Freeman going from on his own from acting half-back, tackle centre field. Referee, I think, called to stop. He didn't actually blow his whistle, he just called stop, and they did, as Ramshaw, obviously injured. The referee recognised that there might have been a possibility of a serious injury there. Fortunately it's not, but we may well see Jason Ramshaw substituted just as a matter of safety here. All depends on the report from the physio there. Well, the head's rocked backwards and forwards. It's not coming off the shoulders, so no doubt he'll be continuing. Ramshaw then recovered as Bramley set up again now, taking play down in the centre. And just escaping there was Jewett. Ramshaw in doing the tackling. As the last one comes up, called by the referee. Freeman on to Ashton. Ashton gets the ball out to Kerr, but Kerr loses it. Knock-on call. It was the last one, so it's a handover there, just outside, or just inside the Keighley 20. Game gone somewhat quiet, but there again, it's Bramley who's had most of the possession in the last 5 minutes. Ramshaw onto Gately. Gately finds Dixon. Dixon looks for the way through. Simon Irvine though doesn't take the ball. Well, that ball, well, referee giving Bramley the benefit of the doubt, saying it went backwards. And I suppose this sideways isn't forwards, it must be backwards. Ashton on to Kerr over the far side. Kerr looking for a hole but can't find it, manages to get the ball out to Ashton. Oh, that's an awful pass by Long, and possibly a little bit of obstruction by Kevin Bell on Simon Irvine. Not so, says the touch judge. As Long gets the ball out there to Wayne Freeman. Wingman tackle 5 metres inside his own half of the field. And play now just entering into the Keighley half once more as fullback Perks tackled 10 inside as the last one comes up yet again for Bramley. Ashton opts this time to put the ball out this time to Gordon Long. He goes for the short chip through. Robinson does the dropping on the ball, taking it, and it's Stoop onto John Walker. John Walker looking to evade those Bramley tacklers as he goes on a run across field, but brought down on that 20-metre line, just the far side of the centre of the field. Steve Hall this time. And certainly the aggression that was showed, the intimidatory aggression shown by Bramley towards the end of the second half has gone. Dorey on to Fleary. Fleary steps back outside. Ashton though doing the tackling on Fleary. It's on the halfway line. And Ramshaw on to Robinson. Robinson puts the kick in. Certainly a good long kick. It's going to stop in that in-goal area. Bramley are going to have to run it out. The chase is good. The referee called play on immediately as Keith Dixon gets there, does the tackling. The rest of the Keighley defence is there, and they'll look again to prevent Bramley breaking out. But certainly Bramley seem to be having a lot more possession in the first 16 minutes, 17 minutes of this second half than have had Keighley. Bramley once more then work their way through the centre in the one-man rugby. This time they haven't reached the 30-metre line before the last of the set of 6 is called. Play coming back in the centre of the field. There was a massive hole there that Gordon Long was allowed to look for. But there's a knock on. It was the last tackle. We've got a handover. So Robinson plays the ball. Ashton in the acting half again as Steve Hall now comes in. Drives in towards into the Bramley half of the field. Ramshaw onto Robinson. Robinson to Martin Wood. The numbers are here for Keighley over the side. Dixon finds Ayres, but Ayres spills the ball. Bramley regather, and once more we set way on another set of 6 inside the Bramley half of the field for the men in gold and black. Ten metres or so from the halfway line then as Bramley yet again attempt to break through, and there seems certainly to be 1 or 2 holes in the centre of the Keighley defence appearing. Injury to a Bramley player there, man in possession. Sir Atkin just stopping the clock momentarily while he's seen to. Keighley making a substitution. Grant Dorey coming up.
And on comes Big Brendan.
Brendan Hill coming on. referee just checking with that injured player. Restarts the clock as Perks puts the boot in. And the ball out on the full. Was the last tackle, so it's a handover to Keighley. Brendan Hill on the field now will be taking his fair share of the drives, I expect. This is the first one. Hands off the first and promptly loses the ball. Well, perhaps it wasn't the best introduction to the game from Brendan Hill there, taking the ball in first drive so early. Might have been better had he had an odd tackle behind him first. Not the feel of play and the speed of play. But Bramley deep inside the Keighley half of the field now as Ashton gets the ball out there to Ken Kerr. Ken Kerr stepping back inside, offloads in the tackle. And certainly the Keighley defence has gone to sleep, no question about that at all. The gaps appearing all over the place, and Bramley are actually finding them. And this is possibly the best scoring opportunity they've had as a switch play to the short side. Jewett, the man tackled as the last call goes up for the tackle as Ashton kicks the ball through, and it's dropped underneath, dropped on in the in-goal area by Keighley, and so we've got a drop out from underneath the post. It's going to be repossession for Bramley once more. Dixon then launches a long one into the Bramley half. That's a tremendous restart. See if the chase is as good by Keighley. Indeed it is. All the way back to the halfway line. A good restart there by Keighley and a good chase as well. As Freeman into the centre of the field, Brendan Hill pounces on the wingman. The ball lost. As the referee saying it was stolen. Is he saying it was dropped? He said it was stolen. So Perks then with the restart, going to put the ball on the ground to kick to the far side. On that ball into touch, is it? Well, in fact, adjudged to have gone into touch. Palmed into touch by the Keighley defence. I suppose the only advantage you can possibly get from that is one against the head here, but that's very unlikely. The only other advantage you can get for going for the ball, I suppose, is palming it backwards into your own player's arms. Otherwise, it's a pretty pointless exercise, other than tying up the forwards in the scrum, of course. But inside the Keighley 10 now, as Bramley drive forward and are driven back and lose possession. Darren Fleary regathers for Keighley. A bit of a kerfuffle going on there as the players sort themselves out. Meanwhile, play continues at the far side. Brendan Hill now driving in, takes the ball, hangs onto it this time, despite the attentions of those Bramley defenders. Robinson to Keighley. Keighley steps back inside. Gets up, plays the ball to Ramshaw. Ramshaw onto Robinson. Robinson to Hall. Hall gets to the halfway line. Turns around, still going, is Hall on the ball. Well, it looked to me as though the ball was assisted out, but Simon Irving on the end of it. 22 metres away from the Bramley line as Ramshaw on to Robinson. Martin Wood out there to Cocker and give the ball, Gareth, but loses it. Bramley regather, and the ball crying out to spin out to the wing there by Gareth Cocker, and instead he took it to the Bramley players and consequently lost it. 5 metres inside the Keighley half then as Bramley drawing this second half 0-0 at the moment. No score since the half-time hooter, and Bramley at 6s and 7s there as the ball was spilled and nobody really wanting to pick it up and take it up. Eventually somebody has to do. as Jewett takes the ball in for Bramley to that 10-metre line inside the Keighley half. One or two of the Bramley players look as though they might be carrying injuries at the moment, but certainly not giving this one up. Oh, and there's a knock-on. Ken Kerr in the way of that Ray Ashton pass, which was really intended for the wingman, as Andre Stoop now comes away. Just clears the 20-metre line as he gets tackled. Ramshaw off to Walker. Walker drives up the centre of the field. Certainly could do with a score to liven up the crowds and to liven everything up this afternoon, in this second half, I should say. Robinson on to Brendan Hill, but Brendan Hill drawn into the heavy area, has to. Martin Wood then out there, just touched by the boot of Simon Irvine as John Walker picks the ball up. It's the last one. And Robinson puts the kick in. Towards the full-back, Perks not taking it cleanly, all on. Should have been, as soon as he touched that ball, it was all, everybody's onside. And a good chase by Keighley as Bramley once more with something like 13 minutes of this game left. Still only 20 points to 4 as we were at half-time. The 12 men of Bramley certainly kept Keighley at bay in this second half and caused a fair amount of problems as well with the pacing runs through the centre of the defence. Keighley, of course, not helped their own cause by allowing those holes to appear. Quinlan. Ray Ashton then switches the ball inside to Kerr, but Kerr lost it. Ashton hung back, he saw a 50-50 ball there. He went for the kick. It's a good job he didn't follow it through. He may just have made contact, I think, but he certainly pulled back as well. Touch was going to have a word, but I certainly think Ray Ashton pulled the boot back. He may have made contact, but he was going for a loose 50-50 ball, realised it wasn't going to be, and just made light contact. So then the restart player in as John Walker gets it away. Ramshaw on to Cochrane. Cochrane tackled a dozen metres from the halfway line, and Ramshaw skips away on his own from acting halfback. But driven back inside his own half of the field there by those three Bramley tacklers. Referee tells him to get up and play the ball as Martin Wood out to Steve Hall now. Hall driving in, but Dixon, ball out then to Martin Wood. Robinson sees the hole in the centre of the field, offloads to Martin Wood. Wood's through the hole, but there's nobody on his shoulder in support. The very much off the cuff play there by Keighley as Gately on the last tackle gets Robinson. A long ball out this side. Andre Stoops in. Andre Stoops in at the corner. My words, that try's taking some coming. 29 minutes of this second half. And I have to say, really, it's probably the first time it's even looked like coming, as Bramley have had a lot of possession, but eventually the ball going to hand, a little bit of individual and play in the centre of the field there, had to be off the cuff, certainly couldn't be planned, move the ball out this side, and persistence of the players taking the ball in. Andre Stoops scoring in the corner.
Andre Stoops.
so, and Simon Irving from close on this touchline side with the conversion attempt. But no, the boots have gone rusty since the early first half successes.
Substitution, Gareth Cochran off, and back comes Nick Pinkney. Off play to Gareth.
Well, the substitution there, Nick Pinkney coming back on. Obviously recovered from the knock in the first half. Just coming back to look to inject that little bit of extra zip into the Keighley attack. Gareth Cochran going off. One assumes then that we'll see Keith Dixon go to stand off. In all probability, Martin Wood drop to loose forward and Nick Pinkney take his place in the centre position as normal. Keighley taking that ball on the full from the restart then, as Pinkney gets the ball onto Robinson. Ayres tackled on that 30-metre line, being laid all over there by Marson. I think it was Marson. No, Hooker Freeman. This is Martin Wood though now, in the centre of the field, right on the halfway line. Crawling and looking for his way forward. Steve Hall from that Ramshaw pass. Breaks 10 metres inside the Bramley half of the field as Robinson once more handles on there to Dixon, round with Robinson. Brendan Hill inside, holding the ball behind him as he goes. Did well to hang on to that ball, did Hill. But there's a touch to John up this side. Looking there at the Bramley player who obviously did something off the ball. I didn't see what happened. I'm told he swung a fist, in fact. Hooker, Glenn Freeman it is. Obviously threw a fist at Andre Stoop. Oh, right in the centre of the field, in fact, so can't see it was been Andre Stoop. However, doesn't really matter who it was. Doesn't really matter who it was. It's a penalty to Keighley for that indiscretion by the Bramley hooker. Grant Dory coming on to replace Ian Keighley.
Ian Keighley, left to Ian Keighley too.
Keighley just ringing the changes slightly now. Simon Irving goes for goal. Not to realise that with the sand bucket coming on as well. Is it going to get there? Strikes the crossbar, but a tremendous chase there by that man Steve Hall. Bramley player really just not aware of what hit him there as Steve Hall galloped fully 40 yards to be the first man on the scene. Bramley being allowed to offload in that heavyish area. Oh, very heavy area, it's not heavyish, it's very heavy. As Ashton runs the ball on the last tackle. None of the Bramley players are aware of what was happening. Now the kick comes, desperation kick. Stoop takes it, Ashton does the following, but Stoop gets away as Irving gets the ball out. And a forward pass. Pass from Simon Irving there, forward to John Walker, 30 metres from his own try line. Possibility of a breakaway there for Keighley, and now it's Keighley doing the defending. Ashton gets the ball out to Freeman. And Freeman on there to Jewett in the centre of the field. The second row for Bramley being involved in a lot of the work for them this afternoon as they've struggled with the 12 men, and Ken Kerr can be creative at stand-off, but not had a good game, not had the best of games anyway. His handling on the passes, going to ground, having let Bramley down on a number of occasions. As they now drive towards the post, Freeman, the hooker, looking to get a second try for Keighley, for Bramley rather, but held up on the try line. The last tackle came as the referee calls it. The kick goes through, it strikes Darren Fleary. The referee hasn't indicated one way or the other, but it looks as though Bramley could be in at the corner. No, the only place they are is in touch.
The Regal Trophy sponsors today have chosen the man of the match, who receives a tankard and £75, and it's Keighley Cougars Stevie Hall, top cat.
So then Steve Hall then getting the Man of the Match award, the Regal Trophy Man of the Match award, as Keighley come away from that position on their own 10-metre line, following the tackling into touch on the last tackle. And Dory gets the ball out then to Simon Irvine. Irvine looking for the supporting player. John Walker getting there eventually and gets the ball away to Robinson, on to Martin Wood. Wood grasps for it. Dixon does well to take that ball. Stoop feeds the ball out to Pinckney. Pinckney's going up the touchline side. He's outstripping the defence. He's in. It's only the first. In fact, I think that's possibly the second time he's handled since he's come back on the field. And what do we get? We get a long distance strike from Nick Pinckney. The injection of pace is what Keighley have been requiring in the second half to finish off, and that's the man to do it. You can't compete with that, can you? Simon Irvine then from the far touchline side. Not the best chance to log his first goal attempt to the second, or the first goal of the second half. Already had a couple before attempts. Certainly getting the length, but the direction somewhat lacking. Just a couple of minutes now left on the normal running time in this second round Regal Trophy tie. 28 points to 4 Keighley lead, 6 tries, only 2 conversions, uncharacteristically so, just 2 conversions with Simon Irvine's boot anyway. And those tries.
The next round is on Radio Leeds and Radio 5 tonight at the next draw at 5 to 6.
So then, as Gordon Long puts the ball down into Keighley territory, full well knowing that his side are not going to be taking part in that draw, which is on the radio this evening. Nice ball out there by Martin Wood, finding Steve Hall, but the ball lost. The referee says it went forward. Well, yes, he was moving in a forward direction, I've got to agree. The ball might have finished up behind where he finished, but where he knocked it forward, but referee deciding that the forward motion carried the ball forward in the first instance before it was spilled. Ashton feeds long from that scrum. Ken Kerr over the far side, tries to step, but decides to come back inside, only to find himself on the ground. The tries this afternoon for Keighley, 2 for Steve Hall and the Man of Match award for a tremendous display by the Keighley captain, overall display. 2 for Nick Pinckney, 1 for Andre Stoop, and of course a first try for the Keighley scrum half since signing for the club from Halifax, Chris Robinson. A couple of Simon Irvine goals is all we could muster from that point of view. And that's the Keighley's 28, and the Bramley try coming, the solitary try in the first half to Gordon Lang. That is solitary up to this moment as Ray Ashton takes them towards the Keighley try line. We've now got nearly 41 minutes on the clock, a minute of stoppage time being played as Bramley try to force their way over. Keighley will be keen to prevent them doing so, I feel sure, as the referee says he's held on his, well, held standing up, and it was the last tackle, so it's a handover to Keighley on the 10. Had it been inside the set of 6, it would have been a scrum down, and that man's definitely offside. And the referee having another word with Ray Ashton, a long distance word this time, as the Bramley coach obviously not too happy with the decision. Irving puts the ball onto the stand roof at the far side as injury time is now advancing towards the 2-minute mark. Steve Hall evading the first tackle, gets through but brought down 7 or 8 metres from the halfway line. Brendan Hill driving in but loses the ball. Bramley regather. Not been a happy second half substitution for Brendan Hill. He's never really got the feel of the game since coming on, and I must admit he didn't come into the game at an intense period. But intense period or not, that's the end. Keighley are safely through into the third round draw this evening. 28 points to 4. They've beaten Bramley by, it's half a dozen Keighley tries, as we mentioned before. Steve Hall 2, Nick Pinkley 2, Andre Stoop and Chris Robinson 2 Simon Irving goals, and the reply by Bramley by loose forward Gordon Long in the first half.
Please, if you will, thank you.
So it's
working very, very hard to get this
into the third round for the first time in a number of seasons.
Thank you very much.
Keighley will be looking to do better than Bramley did last season in the third round. We can only wait and see what comes out of the hat for the next round on the 18th of December, which of course means London Broncos will not be coming here on that day. We wait and see. We'll be covering it, whatever it is, wherever it is. And from us, good afternoon.